that is like got work to do, you know.
Definitely
Got
got
work
some
to do.
definitely got some work to do. So yeah, welcome to another episode of the Bro Foundation podcast. We live in effect. Already kind of talking about some tidbits of craziness of the day and age we live in when it comes to artificial intelligence and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we just like I said, we just want to thank everybody for continuing to tap in with us. Um, we got another great episode for you as usual. We bring nothing but heat, drop gems, and just provide a safe space for brothers to talk and just get stuff off their chest and really just build. That's what we about. So our brother Corey should be tapping in with us here pretty soon. And eventually, man, I've just recently posted a video for us saying that we're gonna definitely get some interviews going. We're gonna get some a lot of different things that we're looking to build up for this platform because there's multiple levels to this, and but I guess it starts with a dialogue. We start with the dialogue. So yeah, everybody knows the one of the biggest topics that's been on internet and social media platforms is the whole 50-50 debate. So, we kind of wanted to tap in and give our 2 cents on it, and also just as far as like the criticism of men's job choices in a sense, what a man decides to do to put, food on his table and, roof over his head, like that's the two are kind of intertwined, as kind of spoke to before. But we gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it, and I said if you for those who want to keep the dialogue going, drop a comment and tell us how you feel about it, and we'll keep the dialogue going. But yeah, really, I mean, it's a matter of I guess you can say we can talk about first the the 50-50 debate. Like that's what the main topic is. I guess you want to say for the day. I kind of have a few. There's a if it really just depends. There's a couple different variables to it. I feel, but you know, how do you guys truly feel about the 50-50 debate at the end of the day?
So to me, the 50-50 debate, it goes it goes with people, especially like when you're in a relationship, you know, um, you can't be selfish. And going off of that because like with money, like I had a problem with trusting my mate with money and doing things like with that because I didn't have I didn't have no trust in it, man. Because when you think about when you're going into dividing bills and um everything like that, like I believe that the 50-50 does come in pretty well, especially nowadays because of the women pretty much almost the breadwinners too right now. With a lot of women are breadwinners. They are successful, and and it can be a little bit intimidating to a man if it because we were so used to being the breadwinners in the beginning of time. So um, having that union, being between each other, being able to say, hey, I got you, you got me, we're gonna take care of this together. We elevate at that point because we both given our pieces of the pie, and it's half, so dealing with that, it helped me to develop the understanding of like with my past relationship, my when I got divorced, it was really because of money, because I was the only one taking care of everything. So it was like unfair to me how I felt. I was like, well, I believe that you can help me in some sense of giving something, so that can be overwhelming from a person too as well. If they got to foot everything and foot the bills and fit everything. So that person might feel a little bit, uneasy about it. So I believe, it's like everybody has their own way of thinking about it, when it comes to dividing that type of things and stuff like that. You just have to be mature enough to know, hey, hey, we need to talk about this and this. We can do this together. And whenever we do this together, we can build that empire of what we need. So, and that's my take on it. So,
Okay. What about you, man?
Well, you really got to, I think you got to assess where your relationship is at and have those conversations. You need to have that to start with. What are expectations? Financial, that brings about a lot of problems in a lot of relationships. Money. One person, as we grew up, it was, the man brought home the money. He was the breadwinner. The wife took care of the home. Those days are gone. Unless you high mid-level six figure to high level six figure, most households aren't going to survive off of one person bringing home the bacon, so to speak. So you got both people out there. Both people want equal say of what goes on within the household. That old thing of what I say goes. If you plan on a life with a partner, the same person, you might have to get past that, depending upon what your financial bracket is. So with that being said, yeah, you can have conversations as far as how we're gonna divvy up bills. And it might very well be you take care of the most important things. You make sure that there's a roof over your head, that the vehicles are taken care of. So that way you can take care of your family. You can get back and forth to work safely. And perhaps she makes the most, and that's what she does. And you take care of, I don't know, lights, food, whatever it may be, whatever you feel comfortable with in sharing of that. But I don't necessarily see anything wrong with splitting up, because you both still have things that you want to do properly, separately from one another. Be it, I don't know, she decides that, she wants to get her hairs and nails on. That's her vice. And I guess that's the other thing. We all have our own vices, but doing that allows you to still be able to have money that you can take and do whatever with. That person don't have a thing to say to it, because it's not taking anything away from the household money. What is the only thing that's taken from, and I guess that also goes into why I think it was Steve Harvey and maybe somebody else.
You muted.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah, you muted you.
Okay. But you have 4 separate bank accounts. The checking for the house, the savings for the house, her account, your account. Those first two, first thing first, y'all figure out, what you're going to pay yourselves. And then that's going to be separately from whatever runs the house. And, you figure that amount, and let's just say arbitrary number is $200 a week. That's your money to do whatever it is that you see fit. Be it, you want to buy parts for a race car you're building, or you want to go buy liquor with, whatever it may be. That's what you decided for. If she's going to do it as far as her nails, hair, or if she does stuff with cars, whatever it may be, she's able to do that. But that's not taking anything away from your household. But you got to have those conversations to find out where you're both at in your maturity. If you can make those things work, then yeah, the 50-50 thing, it can work.
Yeah, I have a I guess I don't want to say a different take, but I have a take that basically, it starts at the beginning, right? And for the most part, I feel like a man should take as much as possible of the burden off his woman as possible. I feel like that's, you know what I mean, he should honestly, I feel like the man should carry, if not all the load, but most of that he can as possible. But I think it starts from the beginning, right? So I said, and also just that's why I said earlier, variables, because it just depends on where you are in your relationship, where you are in life. I think a lot of that kind of, is important. So like, as a man, that's, if you don't have all yourself together, you shouldn't even be worrying about getting into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that you're all the way together yourself first. I mean, and of course there's a couple different levels to that, but if you, like, I can only think about myself in a sense, right? So it's like when I became when my situation was when I was homeless and didn't really have a roof over my head. Like, I've always been self-sufficient. I've always been um, provided for myself. Never really asked for help too much outside of, like I said, I've always been able to take care of the things that I need to take care of for myself. But like I said, when I lost, my place and didn't have a car, didn't have, didn't have a job for a minute, but I had my business for a lot of that time, but I had to put that on the back so I can go back to work. But anyway, long story short, it's a matter of I stopped trying to build with somebody because I had to get myself back in order. You know what I'm saying? I can't be out here trying to build a relationship and be with somebody when I don't even have what it takes to take care of myself right now. You know what I mean? So let me get on my own 2 feet, square on my own 2 feet first, and then we'll see. You know what I'm saying? What can happen after that? Because, like I said, my mentality is I like being the provider, like being the protector. I like being the, you know what I mean, everything in the sense that traditional man represents. So if I can't take care of myself, I damn sure ain't gonna be able to take care of women, because like that's the whole idea. As far as you want to, when you're courting a woman, I mean, it's not cheap. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to spend some money. I mean, it's not it don't have to be gobs of amounts of money, but like I said, when you're trying to bring somebody else into your life, you're going to be, it's a matter of going on dates and doing different things. This stuff requires money. And if you're barely have your feet under yourself, how are you going to do that and consciously, continuously build? Peace to the God. Corey just entered into the chat. We said we just going over the whole, like I said, our innocence, our perspectives of the 50-50.
Okay.
And so I said, yeah. So I feel like, it's just, there's certain levels. So like I said, if you don't have what it takes to take care of yourself, you shouldn't definitely be trying to bring another woman into your life. And so it's like, I feel like you have to basically get your own self right. Then if you want to start courting, you know what I mean, like after that, depending, you know what I mean, like it also all depends on where you are in your life to a full degree. Like if you're at an older age to where you're not looking to have children or something, then that's also an important factor, because if it's just you two and it's just going to be you two, then okay, boom. The funds, I still feel like I said, a man should take care of the majority of the bills, or provide it to the most that he possibly can. But when it comes to bringing somebody in your life and you're wanting to build, it's like you said, it's about having that conversation. What are your goals in life? What do you want to do? What are some things, where do you see us, where's the future going? Because that's going to determine how that's split up as well. Because you can't just be out here just doing it just to be doing it. You should have some kind of purpose. Being with anybody, like I said, a man should, if you're going to be with somebody, there should be some kind of purpose of what you're doing, not just being with somebody just to be with somebody, because then you're wasting money. even more on that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have a purpose, like I said, so as you continue to grow and even, kind of backtrack a little, even if you're not all the way settled or set up for yourself, but you are still in the process of, you know, you have ambition and yeah, you might, potential is one thing, but like I said, if you're actively doing the things that you need to do to better your life, and that woman sees that, of course she's going to want to help you out. Of course she's going to want to make sure that the burden isn't all on you because she sees you're actively doing stuff. You're actively making it better for you. And I said, if you guys have already, like I said, decided to settle down and create something together, she's going to want to make sure that she's doing something because she don't want to see you. She want to see you struggle, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of the type of teammate that you have because that's what it is. You guys are partners. You guys are teammates. So, like I said, she's going to if you're going after goals, if you're going after you're not just working to be working because like we all know we could be working for the rest of our life, but the idea is to buy back some of our time. So if you are like I said, if you're starting a business on the side and you're doing whatever you can, you're putting money aside and doing that. Because I feel like that should be something that you can both be actively doing. You guys can both have a business together and you know be working to achieve something that's outside of this. You guys both working all day every day because you want to be able to. I want to be able to spend time with my woman. I want to be able to go on trips with my woman. I want to be able to do nice things for her. And vice versa. Because if you got a real one, she's definitely going to want to be able to do the same thing for you. It's that symbiotic relationship type of thing. You know what I mean? It's the you guys are both watering each other. Like many times we talked about this before. Corey saying saying that as far as like we're supposed to be watering each other, and showing that we got each other's back. So I'd say I just feel like there's a couple different levels, but at the end of the day, I feel like the man should be doing within whatever he can to take most of the burden when it comes to finances off of the woman, because I just feel like that's one of the ways that we benefit from like it's part of our natural being to want to provide as a man. Like when you get with a woman and she's too independent, that's too much in the masculine energy. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. I mean, that's part of that book, I just finished reading, The Ways of the Superior Man. And he talks about that. Like when a woman is too much into that, independent, I got this, I can do this by myself. Well, that's too much. You're too much in your masculine, and I want to do what I can to pull you out of that. Not to say that you can't do that. That's fine, me per se, I want my woman to be in her feminine, which is, the nurturing, the bringing the peace and just balancing me out as a masculine man. You bring your femininity. That's what I need. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that doesn't overtake your energy. Like that's why the balancing is so important. So it depends on which level where you are in your relationship, or like what's important to you in your relationship. Some people, like I said, 50-50, that's cool. If that's what you want to do, then you should definitely have a woman that is aligned with that. But if I know that I want to be a provider, protector, and the one to make sure that it's not the whole what I say goes that attitude at all. Because like I said, a lot of times we as men, we go to our women for as counsel. You know what I mean? A lot of times our women will be like, yeah, will give us good advice, good energy that we need. And a good man is going to do that. A good man is going to make sure he takes his wife's opinion into account. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, there's a few different variables to it, but I definitely feel, for the most part, as a man, he should be doing whatever he can to take that burden financially off of her. And when it comes to, wherever she wants, if she wants to work, then that's fine. But, you know, if I'm making enough to where you don't need to necessarily work full time, or, like I said, if you want to, if you have a side hustle or a job or whatever, that you want to do on your own time, just because you want to be busy, or, it's like put that money into, you know, a fund, like like I said, if we're going to invest, that could go into the investment account, you know. There's a couple different things, but like I said, just for the most part, I just feel like a man should do whatever he can, and if there's ever a time when you you do fall, of course she's gonna have your back, you know what I'm saying, but you make sure that you get back on point to where, okay, baby, I got the reins again. Let me take over it. You know what I mean? Let's go back to saving. Let's go back to investing. Let's go back to building our business, whatever. You know what I mean? So you can do that with the money that you make. Or if you want to pay one bill or whatever. You know what I mean? I think there's a couple different things that can be done there. But say for the most part, the man should be the one that's taking most of the financial burden on himself. Go ahead, Corey. Happy in what's your opinion on it?
Man, that's I think I see 50-50 a little bit different now, man. As I've grown into like finding who I am, I definitely agree with what you said in regards to like taking the load off your lady. You know what I mean? Just because y'all need to have that balance in the household, and depending on who's the person who's better at, budgeting and taking care of those kind of things, I definitely think it's necessary for the man to take the reins, as you say. But 50-50 to me is still a thing in a relationship, because it's 50-50 and it's 100-100. So like some days we may go out and I got the food. Next day she got dinner. That's 50-50. Or maybe, you know what I mean? Like I cleaned up, but she cooked. That's 50-50. So it's a balance within like the whole 50-50 ideology of like how we act in a relationship. But at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you. So, but like you said, if a woman is making more than you, did she then take over the load, or do you still take over the load for yourself as the man? And then what if she makes nothing? So I definitely agree, like what you said, just taking things, in consideration. Like I'm the man, I need to make sure she has what she needs as a peace of mind as well as mine. If she can take care of the crib, I can take care of the protection of the crib. And I look at it like I'll pay, like you said, 60-70% of everything to make sure that everybody in the house is good. But it does play the factor too, like you said, depending on your relationship. If I'm feeling like we in a toxic environment, or maybe I feel like our communication isn't good, or when I put my foot down, it doesn't stand when it comes to like, if we got kids together, stuff like that, that's going to put me in a mental state to question if I should be putting this much effort in versus, any other time. Yeah, you're going to have your ups and downs, but there should be some law. And the person who lays down that law usually is the man. And if what I'm saying isn't backed up by by the missus, if we in a household together, you supposed to balance that out for me. And if I have to continuously struggle with that part of it, like, hey, I told you to take out the garbage, and you're not backing that up while I'm not there, or maybe it was something supposed to be done, internally, I'm gonna feel like, do you got my back? Are you actually listening to the things that's going to help us flow as a home? And maybe it's like it could be the simplest things, but that communication plays a part in what we have going on as well. Understanding what's needed to be done and taking the back seat, and that's one thing I think, with an independent woman, she may have that mental that I can do it by myself. And rightfully so, she can, just as a man can, but you're not supposed to. You wasn't put on this earth to have to struggle or go through life by yourself. And you may not even be struggling. But even if you making 500,000 and you single, you're not gonna be happy. You know what I mean? Because love is at the end of that tunnel of all the finances, and you can have all the money in the world. And that goes with a man. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a man in my household, for me, I stay alone. It's missing something. That feminine touch or that feminine energy. And I would want her to be able to come into that comfortably, or if we bring in something together comfortably. But you have to be at peace with yourself before you can, like you said, I think, at the beginning of your point, you have to be at peace with yourself before you can then, take ownership of whatever you got going on in the household. But again, I also feel like, 50-50 may be a time where, hey, I don't got it right now. I need you to, handle it. And then vice versa. So it's definitely situational based. I always recommend people to do what works best for them in their situation outside of anybody other, opinion. And if you level up together, then, whoever take care of what won't ever matter. But I definitely agree that a man should take ownership and taking the lead. But I mean, he may not be the alpha. His woman may be it. He may not have that position. So I think that's even more of a manly trait to take the back seat when you aren't that person of, that version. So it's not less manly to not do it, but it's like it's also strong too. So I mean it varies. But that's me though.
I love the fact that we have 4 different perspectives, man, and when we put them all together, it ties up to something beautiful. The way that Ty broke that down, I didn't look at it from that perspective at first, but I understand what he's saying. And the crazy part is because I am one of those people where, my wife makes more than me. And she always did from the beginning of our relationship. So it was a struggle for me because I didn't know how to handle that as a man, because I was like, damn, she make more than me. I had to kill myself basically to try to, you know, accommodate that. But in the meantime, she wasn't looking at it like that from that scope of what I was, because that's how I was brought up and trained in my mind. Like you the man, you need to, everything is on you, which is true. We are built like that. We built for that. But what I did was like what Henry was talking about. I came up with the situation. I was like, you know what? I am the man of the house, and this is what we're gonna do. You know, um, the mortgage, all that, that come through me. We go through because it makes me feel good at the end of the day. Like, hey, you know what? I'm taking care of my house. You get what I'm saying? So, but we do have like a joint account where we don't the bill money in there. You know what I mean? So we dump the bill money in there. I have some left over because a lot of times I will work, and I don't see anything for me, and she didn't see anything for her. And I was like, okay, but we make the money, we make the bread together, but how is it not coming together? So once taking leadership like that, you are the man of the house. You know what I mean? So I started realizing, I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking leadership because I got something that we do every Tuesday night. It's called budget meeting. So we bring all our finances together and we talk about, hey, this is where this is going, this is where that's going. But whatever's personal for you, that's for you. Because we got birthdays and all this other stuff that you might want to, spend on me or whatever. I don't know nothing about that. That's what you got going on. So, but we do have these budget meetings where we talk about it and we communicate. Hey, this every dime has a name to it and it's going somewhere. So, hey, this is where this is going. This is where that going. So and so need this month. So it works, and it makes me as a man able to feel good about myself to go to work because I'm contributing to a way that I'm like, you know what, I'm still, and she allows me to be that guy. You know what I mean? So it's not, regardless of how much she makes, she still respect me in that part where it's like, okay, you are the man. Hey, babe, what we gonna do with this? Hey, I got this some extra money that I got. What we gonna do? Okay, cool. You allowing me to do that, but I also allow her to have an opinion too as well, on what she feels, and then I make the final decision. So yeah, I'm glad Ty, you brought that out, man, because I was able to look at it from a different scope.
Hey,
You can hear me? Y'all hear me?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Say it
You
again.
hear
Yeah,
me?
I can,
Say it again. I think I might have muted everybody. My fault.
Okay, okay. No, I just was saying that I was glad that that point got brought out because it made me look at it from a different scope because I was like, you know what? Um, I'm able to still be present as the man and still be able to contribute. And it makes me feel great. You know what I'm saying? Because in the beginning, like I said, I didn't from my past relationships or whatever, I didn't trust anybody with money like around me like that. So I had to learn how to accept that. Like, okay, we coming together as a joint. Cause she could never understand like why you would never want to have a joint account with me. And until now, and I'm like, you know what, let me try because I'm tired of arguing about it. Cause you know, they say the number one thing in divorce is money. So
mhm.
hey, how can we chop this down? Let's have a budget meeting. Let's talk about it. I put like a little graph. I got a graph on our monthly expenses or where everything go out and all this other stuff. We even laugh now because we even took our bank account statements, brought them together, and we highlight all the fast food and bullshit that we eat and shit, and we like, God damn, like this money can go over here, you know what I mean? So it works, man. And we laugh because we communicating about it. It's not like, oh, you went to Chick-fil-A, you shouldn't have went there. It's nothing like that. It's just like, hey, look, hey, I messed up. I need to get better. This money can go somewhere else. You know, so yeah, man, that was a great point that y'all brought out, man. Like all three of y'all, man, had some great points on that, man. And it made me think about that. And I was like, I needed to share because maybe having budget meetings can help you in your relationship, or in your future relationship, and just go over your bank statements and look at it and say, okay, hey, I messed up on that. I can get better on this. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to say on that, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll just tap in real quick. I like what you said that because like it's important that she understands that what a man in a sense needs to have that esteem. You know what I mean? Like the fact that she's willing to come to you and say, "Hey, babe, knowing that she might in a sense be the breadwinner, but she understands that you are the man of the house. So she comes to, hey, babe, we got this extra money here, or what should we do with this, or like so that you don't necessarily have to be the breadwinner, but like as long as your woman understands and respects you and values you as being the man of the house, like that speaks volumes in and of itself right there. You know what I'm saying? And then also real quick, like kind of speaking what you kind of going on what you said, Corey. It's a matter of like that whole 50-50 thing, like the um I guess you say the traditional 50-50 aspect, but you kind of made it, you kind of brought a different spin on it, which is kind of what I was going to refer to as a matter of like, sometimes she got the majority and you got the less, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's vice versa. So like it's really not a 50-50. It's just 100. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got 70 and she got 30. Sometimes she got 80, you got 20, or whatever the case may be. But like I said, it's not a 50-50, it's 100 straight up. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think I remember, I'm not sure exactly where I seen that from, but that spoke volumes too, because like I said, when you look at it as 50-50, you're still, it's almost like boom, boom. But when you look at it as a 100 as a whole, sometimes 80% of or 75% of the 100 might be on this side. Sometimes it might be right down the middle, but sometimes it might go the other way as well. So it's like you look at it as a whole 100 and not 50-50, that will kind of, it's kind of like that when they say it's not you and me, it's not you, it's me and you against the problem, not me and you against each other. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it like we're together, but we're against the problem that we're having, then you will have a better, you know what I'm saying? You have a tendency of actually resolving the issue as opposed to you feeling like it's you against one another, because that's where the ego comes into play in a sense. You know what I mean? You want to be right. No, and then she wants to be right. But when you look at it like, no, we're both together, but we're against the issue, then you can both tackle the issue together. You know what I'm saying? Have a kind of a cooler and calmer head. Um, but yeah, man, like, you know, it's 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 important to have that conversation.
No, I want to touch on that too, real quick. And I even think like my whole mindset about the 50-50 thing is like I said, I want to give 100% effort to what we got going on. But there are also days, not even like on a financial level, that you have to be present for. You have to be present emotionally. And because we are dealing with women, who tend to be more emotional just by nature, which we can be, the total opposite, you have to, be present for her on an emotional level, even when you don't understand it. So that part of it is like, again, I'm not giving you 50% of my attention when you feel sick. I'm not giving you 50% of my protection when we go in public. No, I'm gonna give you all of that, because that part of that will then help lead into the finances. Like if you can be the leader, not a boss, when we driving, maybe I'm the driver and you the one with the GPS system. You controlling music. Like there's a balance between it all. So I think in that aspect, that's why I understand 50-50, because if you splitting everything down the middle, you got this, you got that. But if I'm giving 100% effort to everything as well as you are, there won't be many areas where we're lacking. And I feel like it ain't even just all financial, it's emotional too. And sometimes we are the ones like having that woman, kind of like what you said, Jersey, kind of what you said, Ty. If a woman understands who you are and they know this is what it takes to be a man, also what it takes to be like when we're hurt or when we're sad and when we're down, do you understand what that looks like for us? For you to then give us the emotional strength that you have, give it to us. So I think that plays a part too, though.
Like I said earlier, everything comes about from that conversation. As far as finances, even before you get to a point of even sharing monies, it should already be a conversation because you see exactly where people are at present state. Through talking, if this young lady that pursuing, if she has too much of that masculine energy where that's not going to be okay for you, you already know it. Y'all don't even need to go no further. Same thing with her. If your energy ain't what she's looking for, y'all can go ahead and pull back well before you get to a point of joining money. And hell, if you look at any business, they find out about people that they're about to get in business with well before they start sending money. So just have those conversations, just see where people are at present state, what their dreams, aspirations are. And further along, as you get to know one another, you can have those financial conversations. Okay, well, obviously you should know what each other's doing for a living early on. But further down the line, okay, what is it you bring to the table? What did you bring to the table? And how are we going to do this conducively to make this household work? Now, it kind of goes without saying, you being the man of the house, you're responsible for everything that happens below that roof, whether you're there or not. Anything that goes on with those vehicles, yeah, that's on you. You got to manage that. But all that comes from having those conversations where you stepping up to the plate. If you're going to play the passive role in the relationship, there's some people that's going to, that's okay with them. They're for that. But most cases not. You're going to have to actively be that man in the relationship. And that's whether you bringing in the most or she's bringing in the most. You still got to play your role as being the head of the house.
That made me think of something, bro. I don't mean to cut you off, Ty.
No, go ahead.
But what it made me realize was like, it's two things that like with women really require or they seek, and that's stability and protection. That's two things that they always want. And when you think about it, bro, whenever you get married, you at the aisle, right? You and the pastor or whoever, you at the aisle. Who is walking that bride down the aisle? Her daddy. He's giving her to him, to you. You grab her, and now she's going with her other father, right? So it's like I want you to take care of my daughter. That's my requirement as a father. That's what I want, right? So once you do that and you realize that as a man, you're like, okay, a lot of times you just look at it like, okay, I'm just, marrying, but you got to look at it from a sense of coming from a dad, like, hey man, I want my daughter to be with the best, and that you don't have to be multi-millionaire, this or that, but you treat her right and give her those two things, protection and stability, and make sure that she's feel comfortable. And that's it, man. Like, but giving her away, that's the main goal of what a father does whenever he's giving her to you. So it's your job to take care of that and be the man that he expects you to be.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Like that's where, like you said, the fact that the your her father is like from the very beginning. I mean, the fact that you want the traditional thing to do is to ask her father permission to marry her. You know what I mean? Because you respect that man, you respect everything that he's done up, up until that point, in a sense. Like, and you want to make sure that you are capable and able to maintain and to treat her the best, to treat her great, And it's like I feel like that's an important thing to do as a man to like I said, to ask the father to, permission to marry his daughter. Like that's all a part of it. Because like you said, Jess, you want to make sure that, he wants to know, and he if you got to the point where where you've met her father and you're doing all the you've been in her life for a period of time, you're gonna know how he's gonna feel about you marrying his daughter. Yeah. It's you gonna know. So it's gonna be that conversation of okay, this is so if you're really serious about once you start getting serious about wanting to marry that woman and her father's still alive, if your relationship ain't on good terms, you better get on good terms. You know what I'm saying? You better get on good terms because that's going to determine a lot. You want that man to respect you. You want him to be able to see that he's given her into good hands. Like you want him to see that. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about your relationship, and it's not necessarily about the parents or But like I said, as a man, I want that respect um, from her father. So I'm going to make sure that I'm treating her right. What I mean, I'm doing everything that I can. And speaking to what you were saying, Henry, I want to touch on it earlier, but you brought it back up, and it kind of reminded me. But it's like even if, like I said, you don't necessarily have to be the. It's like we said, you got to have them conversations. So, and if you meet a woman that is, like I said, she's big bossing, doing big things, and that's not comfortable for you, and you feel like you need to move on, then that's what you got to do. But if you see how she's moving, and she, like I said, she might be making more money than you. She might be, in a sense, in her masculine, so to speak, but you still see her her feminine side, her touch, you know what I mean? But she's, like I said, she might be the breadwinner. She might be, say pulling, bringing in more than you are, and you still want to be with that woman. You got to find your place. You got to figure out, okay, I want to make this work. Where can I fit? Where can I fit my own, in a sense, ego in this relationship? Because you got to, if I really want this to work, just because she makes more money than me, or just because she's doing all this, I don't want to lose it. So I gotta be able to say to myself, okay, where can I fit in, and make sure to the point where I don't feel like I'm lacking in any kind of way. What can I bring to the table on this side now, being that she's like at the end of the day, she's gonna be, I don't want to say necessarily she's gonna have to cover, most of the financial part of it, but if, like I said, if she's making a lot more money than you are, then you're going to the lifestyle that's going to that you need that she's going to live, you can't necessarily in a sense provide that for her because I said she's already there. So you got to make sure that you can, you said do what you need, do what you can when it comes to if it's cleaning the house, if it's making sure that everything is house domestically on that side, helping, like I said, if you have a finance, you might just because she makes her money, you still might have a financial mind, so you can figure out what investments that she can jump into, and you got to be able to figure yourself out in the whole in the dynamic of the relationship. So, but if you can't figure that out, then you gotta be willing to bow out and say, that's not something that I'm willing to be involved in, and that'd be that. But like I said, if you really care about the woman and you want to see it grow, you got to be able to figure yourself out in that dynamic, So, and kind of speaking to that, I mean, when it comes to, because everybody kind of has an opinion about, oh, if you're a truck driver, not necessarily a truck driver, but if you might be working at McDonald's, or you might be, making $50,000 a year, and having something to say about a man's choice of career path. Um, how do we feel? How do you feel like that's because like I said, it kind of coincides when you talk about, in a sense, 50-50, that kind of thing. How important is it, I guess you say, what a man does for a living as opposed to, his mentality? Because I mean, like I said, a lot of times, I might not necessarily be making the most money, but I do have, ideas and things that I want to, the things that I want to accomplish, so like I said, how we feel about that whole idea?
For me, I'm gonna keep it brief. Um, I think for me, that answer. It don't really play a factor for me. I think the woman would be able to answer how important it is, just because it's from their perspective that they're looking at us. I do think though, as a man, if I'm being judged or I'm being looked at as a certain way because of what I do and not what I'm capable of doing or what I've done, that'll determine what I was going to touch on is, like, for instance, there's a why to when a man wants to either marry a woman, want to settle down, or just be fully committed to a woman and his purpose. There's something in that man's body to say, like, okay, why is that? Why her that I want to do that? So I would assume that in that situation, if a woman is now meeting you where you at, and she's accepting you for who you are, regardless what you make, but who you are to her, how you treat her mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that's what should be judged. Because right now I could be making 50,000, but with your feminine presence, if you have that and you're capable of acknowledging it and using it in a beneficial way, my 50 gonna turn into 100, because now you're pushing me to be a better version of myself. You see my potential, right. And then I'm gonna want to commit to you because of that energy you pulling out of yourself but putting into me. But again, if that woman or women in general are now, oh, you work at FedEx, oh, they don't really get no money, huh? What my money got to do with you? You know what I mean? So again, I just feel like a woman's perspective would be good to hear from that. But speaking for me, when I make that why, like, okay, I want to commit her. I wanna give her this world. Hopefully I'm not the one that you judging based off my income. Because if my income is, it's a dictatorship on how you gonna treat me or what my face value is, just because of what I do. A lot of people live below their means. I could make 100,000, but it look like 500,000. So if your perspective is I need to fit some facade for you, then I'm not for you.
Yeah, yeah, bro. To piggyback off of what you're saying, man, because it all boils down to being true to yourself, and when you be true to yourself and you know for yourself, like, for instance, quick story, true story. I was dating this chick one time, and our family had millions of dollars, all this, and I went to this little ball that they had, some kind of party, and man, I had to dress like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince, man. I had that ducktail tuxedo, man, with the bag out, man. And I wasn't myself, bro, at all, bro. I'm just like uncomfortable as hell. So I'm sitting at the table, everybody asking, hey, what you do for a living? At the time, I was a car detailer. I said, I do car detailing. And you could just feel the vibe, bro. Everybody just was like looking at each other like, what the hell? Like, how you gonna take care? And on my way back home, me and her was driving. She said, out of her own mouth, she asked me, or have you ever considered changing your career? And I was like, no, but I have came to the conclusion tonight that I'm going to consider this relationship because I'm out of here, because I was true to myself, man. I'm not going to sit here and be something that I'm not. You know what I mean? So I know what I bring to the table. And if that person can't respect or give you the respect that you have, if you make 50,000 or what 30,000 or whatever, if they can't be with you, that's not the one, bro. That's not the one for you. You got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? So if that person can't, that don't stop for who you are as a person, yeah, and your journey as well. So that's it, bro.
And absolutely. I had situations the same way, more so people didn't understand what it was that I did for a living. In their, that particular circle, what I did was not common to them. And then the fact of the matter that I did not go to college. And for some reason, college degree equates.
You muted, bro.
Hey,
You muted.
say it
Yeah,
again. Henry? Yeah, I can't hear you. We didn't mute you or nothing.
I didn't touch the screen or anything.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. No, I was just saying I've had situations similar to that where what I did for a living wasn't something common in a particular person's realm. So therefore, it was kind of like, what's that? And kind of almost like a joke to them because they just didn't understand it. They didn't have any perception of. So when you situations like that, it's not even a matter of what I do. I mean, first and foremost, the fact that I'm holding down a job, I am not only holding down a job, I have a career. Now, I guess the other side of it was I did not attend a college, say, like, I guess maybe some people that they've dated in their past. And for some reason, they just equate that degree with higher intelligence, very successful person. You just automatically get those checked off to start with. Meanwhile, I do know some people that have been to college, you wouldn't think they made it out of junior high school, let alone a college. So that's not an indicator of a successful person or potentially successful person. Now, again, once we had these conversations and you find out I may not be your cup of tea, that's cool. Because hell, honestly, I might not fit in your lifestyle. You may not fit in mine because you might live more of a debutante lifestyle where, you used to going and being able to just blow a couple bands like it's nothing. Money mean a little bit different to me. Doesn't mean that I'm broke, but I choose to use it more wisely than, throwing it away at the whim whenever I just feel like it. I like to think I'm a little more structured than that. So we may not even, be able to vibe like that. I appreciate you though, but if what I do for a living doesn't seem to fall within, the realm that you want to be in, that's cool. Go ahead, you can find whoever, because obviously, we ain't meant to be. Let me go ahead and move on, continue to have my conversations, and somebody that's not a factor to them or to the success of our relationship, then I could build with this person and we see where that go.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of us, if not all of us, have been in those situations, and it's kind of crazy. The fact that what you were saying, Jesse, how it seems like she didn't have a problem with what you were doing until she realized everybody else had a problem with what you were doing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it wasn't an issue until she felt the energy in the room and people were kind of, doing a little whimpers and whispers and stuff like that or whatever. Then that's when she brought it to you and was like, you was good with me up until until everybody else had something to say about it. But now all of a sudden you feel some kind of way. Nah, like you said, I feel some kind of way about this relationship now, though. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's kind of crazy how people will determine their level of respect for you by what you do for a living. And that's unfortunate because it's like, for the most part, we're not what we do. Like I sling chips for at a chip company. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm way more vast than that. You know what I mean? Like, my brain is, like I'm not that's just my job. That's what I do to put food on my table. But that doesn't define who I am. I could walk into the room with the best of them and hold the highest level conversation, you know, ever. But because I know that my job doesn't define me, I don't let it affect me when I say I've been in some rooms recently and I've, say, yeah, I do sales for such and such, company. Um, and I know that a lot of people in the room are, making, doing different quote unquote things that are more, I guess you say, important, if you will. But the confidence that I have myself, when I walk into a room with my shoulders up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who's in the room. That's just the confidence. So no matter what you do, you got to have confidence in yourself and know that what your job is doesn't dictate who you are as a man. You know, that's why it's so important that you're to read. That's why it's always important to do what you can to better yourself as a person, as a man, because you don't know who is going to try to, like I said, belittle you or put you down just because you might not do the highest level of jobs. But I bet you I could, you know what I mean? I could make you feel dumb. You have a conversation with me. I bet you, you know what I mean? Like you'll be shocked. Like, damn, this dude is smart, But that's just because the confidence that I have in myself and the abilities that I know that I have myself that are outside of the realms of my of my job, but what brings me, what brings money and put money on the table. So, yeah, man, like as long as you are doing what you can to me, in a sense, at the highest level, as long as when you go to work, you're not just, you're not slacking off. You're not just getting by. That's what matters to me, man. You know what I mean? It don't matter if you could be working. I told my son this for the longest. Like he was, I remember he was telling me he was looking into being one of those sign flippers. You know how be in the corner sometime. Just as extra income or whatever. But he was like, he just wanted to feel what people might say about him, or the fact that he was doing that job. I'm like, man, none of that shit even matters, because as long as you're doing your best, as long as you're putting 100% into that, be the best sign flipper that you could be. You know what I'm saying? Do that shit to a T, or somebody, people like, yo, he flipping that sign, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he doing that thing, but it's a matter of the confidence that you have in yourself. I remember seeing a video with a dude. The dude was, he was working at a movie theater making, putting butter in the popcorn, but he was flipping the bucket and, what I'm saying, doing it. And
Oh yeah.
you see that video?
Yeah.
He was doing his thing though. You know what I mean? Like he made me want to go buy a bucket of popcorn from him. You know what I mean? Because I know there's butter all through that thing. You know what I mean? But somebody had a nerve to say he think he's doing something with that, such. That man, he's doing his job to the highest level. He's obviously doing something because somebody had sense enough to pull the camera out and record him. So now he's going viral, putting butter in a bucket of popcorn. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got something to say about him. One of the key things that I think it might have been Nipsey Hussle, the one that might have said it. Rest in peace. But he said, people, the ones that, what do you say? Those that watch will always have something to say about those that do. And I was like, That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like people who have no skills themselves, who are watching other people do different things, do stuff, will always have something to say. I'm not worried about what you got to say, man. I'm over here doing it. I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, putting into action. So you can say what you want all you want. I'm over here doing it, you know. And also just on the same level, it's like people doing more than you. You'll never be criticized by somebody doing more than you. Period. So if somebody got something to say, they obviously ain't doing nothing, because the ones who are actually doing something, they don't got time to worry about what somebody else is doing. I'm over here getting to it. You know, you can have your criticisms, you can do all that. I'm not worried about that, man. So, you know, I have no judgment against anybody doing whatever they got to do to put food on their plate, to feed their family. You know, it's just a matter of making sure that you put your best out. And I think that was in the book, The Four Agreements. Even if you're doing something that you don't want to necessarily be doing right now, you still got to put your best into it. You know what I mean? Because eventually, somebody that said that job or whatever could see you you know doing that grunt work, so to speak, but you're doing it at a high level, and you can end up getting offered a higher position because they see you putting in the work. They see you doing 100%. They see you never complaining. They see you, you know, giving positive energy to other people on the job, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? As long as you are giving your 100% at whatever you do, you never know the opportunities that can come that you can be blessed with. So that's why you gotta go in. Like one of the managers, she had a problem with me. Not necessarily had a problem with me, but she said something about, because like when I'm at work and if I'm listening to music, I'm whistling. You know, I'm doing my job at a highest level, but I'm whistling to the music that I got going on in my earphones. And she said something like, "Oh, it's just funny to see, you know, you just kind of whistling away and just doing your thing." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing my job at the highest level, and I'm enjoying. You know, I'm the power of now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is what I'm doing right now, this is what the task at hand is. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to moan, because I still got to do the job. I still got to do the job, and it's only going to make it that much more difficult. So why shouldn't I be in here listening to music and enjoying myself and, you know, whistling and doing? Of course, but that's just because that's the mentality that I got, and I know that if I gotta get through this, I gotta enjoy myself. Bottom line. So yeah, man, hats off to anybody putting food on the table, you know, feeding their family, taking care of what they gotta take care of, because it's difficult in this world, man. Like, this world
Yeah.
was hard enough. You know what I mean? So salute.
And just to keep real quick, I don't know the quote. It's on the tip of my tongue. I've been thinking about it. It's like we got it. We a lot of times we get confused with like we be like, oh, I'm doing a lot, but you ain't making no progress. So it's like you got 5 different things going on, but you ain't really making no motion. It's just like running in place. And I forgot how the quote go, but it's like be your best self, so you can, like you said, be attentive and be 100% available for what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's like if you have asked them what you're doing, how can somebody else respect it? Like, you know yourself, you ain't even putting in the effort. And you know, just to go back to the women, it's like a woman gonna feel if you approaching her with that same integrity. Like, are you really trying to date me? Are you pursuing me? Are you really trying to like take this to the next level? Yeah, the way she gonna look at that is like, what do you do to show me who you are? Are you consistent? Are you disciplined? Do you have boundaries? Do you know how to speak up for yourself but still be respectful? So it's like, again, that's 100% being in tune with yourself. So don't try to be the best detailer when you ain't even learned how to wash your car. Now you got to start from the bottom, work your way up. But I think, you know, like I said, time back in with the value, like you put your own value on there. So it's like when you got a business, when you start making your own shirts, or you doing mobile detailing, like that's your worth, but then add a little bit more taxes, because a lot of times these people doubted you. They doubted that you was going to be able to get to that point where you at. So add a little bit of taxes on that, because now my price today ain't gonna be my price tomorrow. My value that I was 6 months ago ain't the same. I've learned something more. I've gained a better understanding. I taught somebody something. I did my due diligence and a good deed. So remain true to yourself, 100% true to yourself, which takes some time, and I guarantee everything else will fall in place.
Yeah, man, and eliminate the distractions. Too, man, and stop putting all that pressure on yourself too, as well, man, because of what you see. Because we go off of what we see as people, and when we see, we see what the next man got or what that person got. You put a lot of stress on yourself to try to make those dreams come true. You don't know what that person had to go through either to get that, that possession that you're trying to get. So, if it's for you, it's for you too, as well. So you just keep grinding and do what you want to do. But don't have all that pressure on yourself and stress yourself out for things that not even what you might not even be for you. You know what I mean? So that's it.
And as far as dating and 50-50, and even, as far as we took it was to, actually having that conversation with the young lady's father, as far as, asking her for a hand in marriage. Like I said, you have those conversations in the beginning, but that is a very significant ceremony when you accept this woman as your bride. Because when you having that conversation with her father, you showing him that respect by having that conversation, but you basically telling him she ain't gonna need you no more. I got this. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's what he's gonna expect. So when you going into the dating world, you need to kind of have that in the back of your mind that if this is potentially somebody that you could possibly see spending the rest of your life with, you have to go in with the intentions of meeting that standard that her father set. And every father, and it happens with boys too, but especially father and daughter relationship, that's a baby girl. She's protected. She knows that all she has to do is call him. He's going to provide whatever, and he is going to protect her. They look for these signs out of us very early on, and it's constantly being reevaluated throughout the course of your relationship. How well do you measure to her father? Does she see the same level of protection or better from you? Does she see the same, being able to provide for him? Now, if her daddy, got all them zeros in the bank, yeah, you might not be able to provide for her in the same manner that he is, but as long as you're willing to give the effort to provide, that suffices in some cases even more so than having those. It's just a matter of being aware of your situation, aware of your relationships and the situations that arise, and being able to, rise to that occasion. All those things you need to be able to keep in mind while you're having those conversations along. And from time to time, you need to still be having those conversations. Make sure that you're still both aligned in what it is that you're trying to reach at the end of all of this. And if it ever looks like, y'all not compatible like that, that's cool. That's what dating is. It's seeing if you're compatible to be able to make a life together. And if so, great. If not, it happens.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anybody else got, before we wrap up, anything else anybody want to add into?
Great conversation, fellas, as well, and
yeah,
as always, but just stay true to yourself, man. And, and just eliminate the distractions and just keep tunnel vision. You got to keep that your eyes focused on the prize, bro, and just keep believing in yourself and motivate yourself. Sometimes you got to motivate yourself. A lot of people ain't going to even motivate you. You got to do it yourself, and you got to continue to roll, so that's what it is.
Absolutely.
I know for me, I think I've been like you said, Jesse, you hit it on the head about that pressure. Not living to nobody else's expectations, but my own expectations, and then doubting myself that it can't happen because it hasn't happened. So I do feel like sometimes, talk to God, talk to that inner child within you to make sure that, not only are you holding yourself accountable, but you loving on yourself too. Because it's a lot of information that goes into our brain on a day-to-day basis, and you got to be able to handle that shit as it comes. But then you also soaking in other people's energy. So give yourself grace, practice patience on yourself, and just be what's the word, man? Steadfast on your own understanding. That's it.
Sir. And then, to me, when it comes to, the whole like starting that journey of relationship to where, before you can even get to that quote unquote 50-50 or that 100, that all 100, all in 100 type of relationship, it's a matter of being mindful and and being purposeful, so if you are going to, like you said, making sure that you, when it comes to you get into a relationship, be mindful of the woman that you're looking to get a relationship with, get a relationship in with. Understand what, in a sense, her expectations are. Not that she's going to present, she might not even present expectations to you, but just by the way that she moves, are going to be those, in a sense, those expectations are going to be subconscious, in a sense, if that makes sense. So just being mindful of, like I said, the woman that you're courting. Understand, like I said, you'll know very early, if she was in a sense raised by a father, and the types of character traits, or the types of things that he instilled in her, they're going to reflect in the way she treats you. And so so it's a matter of, like I said, being mindful of what that looks like, to where, okay, if you can handle it, if you can live up to those or not. Because if you can't, like you said, the earlier the better. You gotta, wave that white flag and be gone. You know, and just, when I say being purposeful, when you do realize, okay, this is something that you want to spend your life with, or spend extended period of time with, you got to be purpose. You got to have it. You got to make sure that you everything that you move, every way that you move is full of purpose. You're not playing no games. You're doing what it takes to show her fully that who you are. So yeah, mindful and purpose, man. I think those are the two keys. But yeah, highly important conversation to have at a young stage of relationship, and even for the young men and young women coming up right now. If you 18, 19, get out of high school, get out of college, if you take heed to everything that each one of us has said, to all the things that we're all saying, because it's like Jesse said, we have 4 different perspectives, but they all kind of intersect at one point. You know what I mean? That they're so we all, you can take a gems and take heed from, you might not necessarily agree with everything that one of us, each one of us has said. You might not agree with everything that we have said individually, but there's at least something that you can gather from all of us, and take that nugget and, okay, boom, you can form it into your own, your own stone, your own, form it into your own thing. So yeah, another high level conversation, brothers. So like I said, we appreciate everybody that continues to tap in with us. We are doing everything that we can to continue to, like I said, level up and scale up our platform. So like I say, any kind of feedback you can provide us on, topics that you want us to speak on, things you want us to do, to get involved in, whatever the case may be, we here for it. So leave a comment in the comment down below in the comment section. Hit us up on IG. Hit us up on, we're on TikTok now. We're also on Spotify podcasts. So if you want to listen to it, you can listen to us on Spotify podcasts. We're on Patreon, and it's all the Bro Foundation. So, like I said, we appreciate everybody's continued support. And until next week, Bro Foundation, profound conversations with brothers across the nation. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.
Peace and love.